Sarah, we'll come to you, please.
Very good morning to you, Anthony. Hope everything's going well up there in Edinburgh. Could we just get a little injury update from you before we get going?
Yeah, of course you can, Sarah. Everyone has trained this morning, so it's as per the named team. So, yeah, good in that regard.
And how are you feeling personally ahead of your first Calcutta Cup match?
Well, I'm really excited. I'm from a place called Rockhampton in central Queensland in Australia. So the history of this particular game, I think it's 143 years old. And, you know, to be part of an event that started in 1879 is incredible. Actually, the whole experience has been incredible. Like I said before, 143 years of history. And, you know, I think getting outside the Australian bubble, particularly the rugby league bubble of Australia, just the interest in this game, the interest in the Six Nations. When I first joined the England Rugby, someone told me that there's 870 million followers worldwide in rugby union. And if I compare that to two big winter sports in Australia, probably 10 to 15 million in each of those sports. So just the extent of the following, the extent of the interest in the Six Nations and the history of the Calcutta Cup, I'm like a kid the night before Christmas.
And can you just tell me, checking the weather report for this weekend, it's still saying strong winds and heavy rain. How much has that dictated the game plan we can expect to see from England tomorrow?
Well, obviously, we plan for different scenarios. So we've got a plan A and a plan B. And, you know, sometimes we'll need a plan C as well. So, look, we think, you know, tactically, we've covered off on, you know, the different, you know, weather contingencies that we need to. But, you know, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's about you know, building on our 2-week preparation into this game. We know the weapons that Scotland bring to the game as well. So we feel as though we've had a significant preparation and we're prepared to play.
And just lastly from me, obviously Tom Curry named captain yesterday. Tell us a little bit about your working relationship with him and who else is particularly coming in defence to support him.
Yeah, so Tom obviously is one of our leaders in the team. You know, he was you know, vice captain in the autumn series, one of the vice captains in the autumn series. The thing I like about Tom, you know, working with him in the few months I have, is just his work rate. Not just on the ball, but off the ball. Like, he's full of effort. And I think players see that, and players will get behind him. You know, he's not one for big speeches, but his actions speak. And you know, I think the group certainly gets behind Tom. I think the other guys to support him, you know, Luds, you know, one of our other back rowers, you know, he's very good, you know, in and around defensive aspects of the game. I think, you know, he's a great support there. Luke Cowan-Dickey, you know, again, fantastic defensive player. So we've got some players in and around, you know, Tom, that can help him with that side of the game.
Fantastic. Go well.
Thank you.
Thanks. Liam Heatley, please.
Anthony, how are you?
Good, thanks, Liam.
Good, yeah. You spoke to us in November and you touched on Owen Farrell in particular at one stage. I just want to read back a quote that you said at the time. You said, he is a real leader with our D. Him along with Courtney Laws and Johnny May on the wing. They're the three guys that have seen a real impact on the D. Those three guys aren't in the team for tomorrow. So I'm just curious, are you confident you'll have other people stepping up, and who will those people be in your eyes? What can we expect?
Yeah, so, you know, I certainly did say that at the time. Those three guys were real leaders in that autumn series. I think, you know, it's an opportunity for a new group of players to step up. As I said before, I think, you know, we're not relying on one or two players, you know, from a defensive point of view. I think, you know, I spoke about, you know, Lewis Ludlam there before. I think, you know, he's got some great endeavour on that side of the ball. You know, Tom Curry, as I said, Luke as well. And in the back line, I think Elliot Daly, you know, he's been a real, I suppose, I didn't work with Elliot in the autumn series, but he's been a real leader for a really young back line, you know, particularly our outside backs. We've got, you know, a new group of guys coming through there. And, you know, he's been significant with his talk and his instruction in that space. So we've got a couple of guys who have stepped up. And, you know, I feel as though we've had a good 2-week preparation and we need to be on our game defensively. You know, Finn Russell, you know, Hogg at the back as well. They bring weapons that, you know, some other teams don't have. So particularly in and around the unstructured side of the game. So, yeah, we've got some guys that step in their place, Liam.
Okay, thanks for that. Cheers. Good luck.
Thanks. Charlie Morgan, please.
Anthony, I just had a quick one about Sam Simmonds, if that's all right. You've mentioned the two other rowers. I think Eddie's spoken previously about the improvement that Sam's made in defence, especially around the breakdown. Could you talk about him as a player and how he fits into the pack you've picked?
So I'll start with, one of the real weapons I've seen with Sam, watching his club games is, his attack. He's a try scorer, very hard to tackle, got great footwork, good leg speed. So he's a real weapon when he carries the ball. The thing I've liked about, him from a defensive point of view is his work off the ball. Again, I think his, awareness, in and around the breakdown has improved significantly. And I think that's a part of his game that, he's really developed in certainly in the few months that I've worked with Sam. But yeah, great opportunity for him to start in the number 8 jersey tomorrow. And, like you said, he's shown some real form in the club game, and he's rewarded his performances.
Cheers, Anthony.
Thanks. Duncan, please. And then we'll finish up with Gavin.
Morning, Anthony. Hi, how you doing?
Good, thanks, Duncan.
Good. Just on Finn Russell, do you have you devised a particular game plan to deal with him? And how do you go about dealing with someone who can be as unpredictable and just sort of naturally gifted as he is?
Yeah, super talented player. I think, if you watch his club form over there in Paris, he's been outstanding. And he obviously brings that to the Scotland team. You're talking about how do you take away his weapons? Well, obviously time and space. Finn Russell wants time and space so he can, ball play. He used a really effective kicking game, both short and long. So you need to take time and space away from Finn. Now, that's easier said than done, of course. So I think, making sure that we go after Finn Russell, not in an outside our defensive system way, but, we want to make sure we put inside pressure on Finn Russell. And you need to win the collisions. You need to win the ruck and the ruck speed to be able to do that. So it's not just, what Finn does, it's what their forwards do to create momentum for Finn. And he plays very effectively off the back of that. He's obviously at home tomorrow afternoon as well. And we need to take away that home advantage and make that home advantage, which most people see as a weapon. We need to turn that into a bit of a burden for Finn. So who knows what the weather conditions are going to be like up here. I expect it to be cold and rainy. So, again, we need to go get Finn.
If you stop Finn, to what extent do you stop Scotland? How much are the two linked?
Well, certainly he's a key player. He's a key positional player. Wearing the number 10 jersey, any team's number 10 is significant because, in a lot of ways, they're the quarterback, aren't they? They execute the plays from an attacking perspective. They often have really effective kicking games, and Finn's got both of those. He's a super talented player, and, Gregor Townsend has designed a game plan that allows him to not only play structured but also unstructured rugby. So, again, we need to make sure that we have a plan in place, and we've done that. And, now we need to execute that plan. But, he's really good. I think, Holt certainly is somebody in unstructured as well who's, got significant abilities. But I think a lot of the momentum or a lot of the space that they play with is built at the back of their forward pack. And we need to take away that home advantage tomorrow and make it a bit of a burden.
Great. Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks. And we'll finish up with Gav. Thanks.
Hi, Anthony.
Oh, yeah.
I've just to sort of follow up from Duncan's question there on the reverse side of how much you expect Scotland will come after Marcus, and again, maybe what are the key things that you're looking defensively to sort of protect him and ensure that he can play his own game?
Well, from a defensive point of view, obviously we need real stability in our line. But, if we're talking specifically around attack, one of the things that I see from our forwards, they've got a real appetite to carry the ball. We've got some really strong carriages there in Genji and Sinks, Sam Simmonds as well. Really good ball carriers. We need to create momentum. So, it's the opposite of what I spoke about with Finn Russell. We need to make sure that we stop that momentum of the Scottish forwards. So we need to make sure we have our double shots. 2 men in the tackle there, and really work hard with winning that first contact. Well, on the other side of the ball, we need to poke our nose through, and we need to get heads and shoulders, through the line there. Scotland really effective at holding teams up. I think Steve Tandy, their defence coach, does a lot in and around trying to hold teams up. So we need to be really effective in that space, create momentum, create some time and space for Marcus to play off the back of. And I think if we can do that, then Marcus can certainly have an imprint, or put his imprint on the game.
What you've seen from Marcus, you have confidence in him defensively. There's not a sense of needing to rearrange the back line to keep him out of the way, or how's he been going?
They've been outstanding. One of the things I've been super impressed with is his work ethic. He's got a real appetite to get better. Some people call that a growth mindset, but he just wants to get better. And, I think, one of the things that I see from him is his appetite to work. And, we're very confident in what he can do. We don't need to hide him in the back line or defend him, somewhere outside what he does for the Harlequins. I think he's very good at getting his body in front. And he certainly works on it. So there's not a day go by where he doesn't work on his defence. There's not a day go by that he doesn't work on his passing game, his kicking game, his goal kicking. So, really love working with him. He's a good young bloke, and I think we need to give him the time and space to have an impact tomorrow.
Thanks, Anthony.
Thank you, mate.
Hi, Sam. Congratulations on the call to start. How did you feel when your name was there?
Yeah, it was great feeling. Very proud. Something I've worked hard for the last few years to, first to get back named in a squad, in a 36-man squad, or for the autumn and stuff like that, and then to push on and try and get a starting position. And I've been lucky enough this week to get that. We've had a great training week to put us in good stead for this weekend. But yeah, personally, very proud.
Did you ever worry that this moment wouldn't come, and what were you putting in place to make sure that it did?
To be honest, I didn't, I kind of saw it. If it came, then off the back of, playing well for my club, then that's what I deserve. And if it didn't, then I'll just keep trying to do the same thing and trying to put my hand up and hoping that I'd get chosen again. But it wasn't something that I kind of got bogged down with each time the selections and squads got announced. I obviously saw the squads that got announced, and when my name wasn't in it, it was kind of okay. Just keep working hard at Exeter, keep improving, keep listening to the coaches and what they're feeding back to me, and what I can do to get back into the squad. And that time served me well. I had a good few seasons with Exeter, and very happy to be back involved now.
And the scale of the occasion tomorrow, a Calcutta Cup match at Murrayfield, are you trying to ignore the hype, or are you trying to embrace every moment?
Obviously the hype's there, but I think we're lucky enough to be in an environment where the experience around the squad helps. I was going to say us younger guys, but I'm not young now, but I'm newish to the squad. And, the experience I've had in the past, whether it's just with the Chiefs playing in big games or with the Lions or England, you see past all of the hype around it, and, you focus on the training through the week. And then once it does get to Saturday, you're able to put the emotion into the game.
And just lastly from me, what have your specific instructions been ahead of tomorrow, and what to expect from Scotland?
My specific instructions, I feel like I'm going to have to get the team, or try and help the team get on the front foot. But it's not only that, up in Scotland, you never know what the weather conditions are going to be like. So I think work rate around the park, a lot of kick chase, a lot of trying to break up the play. And then that leads into the Scotland threats with playing with Hoggy the last couple of years, and playing with Finn as well in the Lions. You know what they bring. They love broken play, unstructured play. So it's for us, it's about shutting down those areas and trying to keep them quiet.
Go well.
Thank you.
Thanks. Charlie Morgan, please.
Hi, Sam. I just wanted to ask you about working with Lewis and Tom in the same back row. It seems to be a slightly different back row balance to the one maybe you're used to at Exeter. How does that change your role at all, and how have you found it?
I don't think it changed my role at all. I think, the makeup of the back row, you can see there that it's an all-action back row. The boys beside me love to carry, love to tackle, love to get over the ball. And I think that's something that we're going to need against Scotland, especially away. It's going to be a tough game in the wet, and you're going to have people that are going to want to get up kick chase, and do the bits that others probably don't want to do. And I think we probably complement each other quite well as a three. And yeah, I'm pretty buzzing to get out with those two.
Just have one more question. Eddie's mentioned how he feels your work over the ball has improved since the Lions tour, and the Lions tour being a catalyst for that. Is that fair to say? Is that something you recognise in yourself, or you've targeted yourself?
Yeah, it's something that I went away from in the autumn, something that I wanted to work on back at the Chiefs. I played for Exeter for 5-6 years now. We've never had the recognised jackler, or we've never played with a seven like the old school seven that's great over the ball. But it's something that I wanted to add to my game, and it's not just turning the ball over, as a jackler. It's the work in the breakdown once you've made the tackle, getting up and making it a mess. And sometimes turnovers are few and far between, but if you can slow the ball down or mess up the ruck so that the nine knocks it on, or it's a poor pass to the next player, then those are big things that some people don't notice. So yeah, it's something that I've tried to add to my game.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Sorry, laptop having some issues. Who's next? Liam, please. Thank you.
Sam, how are you? You've got three extra players involved with Scotland. Any bit of a banter, any communication with those three guys in the lead up to this game tomorrow?
I actually haven't spoke to them. No, I'm good friends with all three, especially Skins. I've played with Skins for a number of years and played against him at school and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him after the game. But in a professional environment, they've got a job to do. We've got a job to do. We've got to focus at the task at hand. But yeah, I might just give him a text today, a little good luck, and have a chat to you after.
Okay, now that you're back we're in the England number 8 jersey, so the first time since March 2018. There was a huge media campaign about your absence from the England squad, especially last season. I'm just wondering, is there any added pressure on the fact that you're now back in, given there was such a hype about you and people wanting to get you back in, see you well, given you were playing so well at Premiership level?
There are pressures of playing at the top level, playing, it's pressures playing for your club, playing for international games. But this week, I haven't felt any added pressure. I feel like I've been working towards getting myself back into the England setup for the last couple of years, 2 or 3 years since being injured towards the end of 2018. And it's not pressure I feel, it's excitement, it's pride. And to be honest, I can't wait to get out there and put the England jersey on again.
Okay, best of luck with it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. And then Duncan will come to you. Thanks.
Sam, just wondering, as a team, what are you expecting from Scotland, both on the pitch and just the whole Murrayfield atmosphere and environment?
Yeah, I've not played at Murrayfield before, but we've got plenty of boys in the squad that have, and we just talked about the hostile environment that it brings, and how we can use that and come together as a 15, as a 23, and also the boys that are travelling that aren't playing as well, and just about everything off that anything that comes to us. We talked about results in the past and maybe haven't played to the full potential, and I feel like this weekend we've trained well, mentally and physically. We're in a very good place, and yeah, we're just looking forward to it for tomorrow now, and can't wait for it to come.
Thanks, Sam. Cheers.